Going to kind of jump to this one and jump on in and jump on out. I do want to preface the story with a little bit of a teaser of an episode of, it's a Tom Baleo channel, I guess, on YouTube. And RFK Jr.'s vice president pick, Shanahan. She went on the show and said something that made people go, huh. I'm gonna go into that, but before I do, here's what she said on the show. And I'm just going to kind of play that preview kind of intro to it. I will leave a link in the show notes below so you can go check out the whole thing. It is 57 minutes. We're definitely not going to spend that amount of time watching this, even though unfortunately you may spend that amount of time listening to me if you go from start to finish on this thing. Hopefully not today. But I do want to play the very opening because it kind of teases and sets up so much about their relationship with the Democrat Party.
The DNC made that impossible for us. They have banned us, shadow banned us, kept us off stages, manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state. They've even planted insiders into our campaign to disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us. I mean, the extent by which the sabotage they've unleashed upon us, it's mind-blowing. I mean, we're still learning new ways that they have sabotaged us. I really wanted a fair shot at this election, and I believed in the America that a little girl pledged an allegiance to.
All right. So again, a link to the whole show in the show notes below. I do recommend it. There's a lot of bombs that get dropped in here, a lot of information. Of course, they dive into that some more, and they go into what I'm about to go into, which is, and this article, I just picked this particular one. No particular reason, I guess, but this is from The Guardian. And of course, you got RFK Jr., who is the presidential nominee for the Independent Party, right? Independent. It's not Libertarian. No, I just had a brain fart. I think it's just Independent. I don't know. Anyways, it says RFK Jr. considers dropping out to help Trump, running mate says. Nicole Shanahan says she, an independent 2024 candidate, could walk away and join forces with Donald Trump. Yeah, independent. I want to be very transparent with you guys, as I usually am. To be fair, I am right-leaning. I am conservative. I'm a Christian. I'm a family man. I believe in the Second Amendment. Obviously, the First Amendment is very, very important. And I believe that our rights come from God and not the government. And it is our job to control, head up, and to limit the government. And it's their job basically just to make sure that our rights are upheld and that we are, provided safety and security on a national level. Outside of that, they can pretty much just stay the hell out of the way. That being said, you can say I'm libertarian, you can say I'm Republican, you can say whatever. I kind of dip my toes in all areas because a lot of people are this way, even though they are kind of, more one way than the other. I'm obviously more conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it, than anything else. I definitely dip my toes in the libertarian department some. I even slide over to the Democrat side a little bit of that liberalism, progressiveness over there. I kind of like some of the stuff over there. Kind of a Frankenstein, a monster, if you will, of different ideas. And if we all examine ourselves, we all probably have a little bit of that in us where, okay, that side makes sense with this, and I don't understand why we don't do that. But ultimately, you're still grounded in your core beliefs that put you where you are politically. I didn't know where I was for the longest time when I started getting into the game. I'm going to give props real quick to Jon Stewart of The Daily Show. It was really him and The Daily Show that got me interested in politics and kind of woke me up to the fact that we all really need to be engaged and aware and conscious of what's going on. And I thank them for bringing it to the forefront. I don't always align with Jon Stewart. Most obviously, I don't always align with Jon Stewart. but we do align a lot on our views of like the mainstream media, politicians at large, and how they play the game and stuff. So I say all that to say this: right now, watching this video, you probably already know that I will be voting for Donald Trump. Pretty much don't even care who the vice president candidate is, right? Whether it's J.D. Vance or whether he went back to Pence or what, I couldn't care less. I am at a point where I've decided that I am voting for Donald Trump. Okay? You can click off if you want to. You can keep watching, up to you. I'm not telling you who to vote for, and if you want to vote for Kamala, you're still welcome here. Because unlike those guys that, like you heard, she said they were doing such dirty, rotten, terrible things to them. And you hear often, or I just talked about Tulsi Gabbard is hooking up with Trump to work on the debates. She's a Democrat, and she's been on Fox News lately. She's been working with the Trump campaign lately. You see more of these people finding a more friendly, welcoming environment on the right than you do the other way around. You don't see a lot of people on the right going to the left. You see a lot of people on the left going to the right. Unless they were just a rhino, a Republican in name only, then they often will align with Democrats, which not a huge loss for most of those particular people. I know one was on stage the other night for the DNC. He's just a rhino. He's a Democrat and in a Republican suit or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm voting for Trump. In 2020, I voted for Trump. Proudly voted for Trump. I was excited about 4 more years of a Trump presidency and what he brought to the table. Of course, we see now that didn't work out for one reason or another. But in 2016, I did not vote for him. Again, I believe in being very transparent with you guys. I did not vote for him in 2016. I did not like him. I didn't like a lot of how he acted. I didn't like a lot of what he said. I didn't like his approach. I didn't, again, kind of as a conservative Christian guy here, I was like, just can't get with him. I don't like it. I don't like what he's doing. And I did not vote for Hillary, though. I did vote third candidate. I voted for Libertarian Governor Gary Johnson. I proudly cast in my vote for him. He had a fantastic record as governor, did great with finances there, with the economy, and I was hoping he would do that for the nation. I don't have any regrets about it, but yeah, I mean, this is a thing. There's a lot of people that are, going for the Libertarian, going for the Independent, going for the Green Party because they don't like the 2 candidates that we have. A lot of people are saying that. But as other people have pointed out, we are at a point in this nation now where we don't have the luxury to have a third or fourth party running as a viable candidate. At this point, you are voting for someone as well as you're voting against someone else. And that's really the only reason I think, not that I think he got 81 million votes necessarily, but that's why I think Biden had so much support last time, was not because people wanted Biden, but people did not want Trump. Why? Mainstream media, COVID, various reasons. Honestly, I don't think they're being honest with themselves, but they can speak to that. I can't. That all being said, again, being transparent, I don't always go for conservatives. If this was somebody other than Trump, I don't know. Mitt Romney, I wouldn't vote for Mitt Romney to save my life. When he ran against Barack Obama, I think I voted for Gary Johnson then. I think he was running. Couldn't vote for Barack, couldn't vote for Romney. What do? You still got to sleep at night, right? And you try to sleep with a good conscience. But again, like many had pointed out when Joe Rogan said he liked RFK, or when Kyle Rittenhouse said he wasn't going to vote for Trump, a lot of people came out, and I think that we as a people, we're definitely too rough on these guys. People are allowed to vote for who they want to and support who they want to. But I think we're at a point now where you are voting against so much whichever way you go. You're not just voting for stuff, you're voting against other stuff. So, for example, I'm a 2A guy, right? I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in girls competing in girls' sports, boys and boys, protecting our women and our girls. Not in the same way the Democrats do. Democrats mean they should be able to kill their unborn babies. I mean that they should be able to compete in sports and other, stuff, within their gender and not have to worry about some biological male running over them, hurting them, hospitalizing them, maybe even killing them. I hate to be, such a negative guy or such a downer, but, what am I as a father going to do if I see a biological boy tackle my little girl out there on the soccer field? Daddy's going to be on that soccer field too. And so is their parents. And we're going to handle it because that's just not right. It's not right. I'm sorry. So right now, conservatives are like, we have to protect women and little girls from that. And the Democrats are like, we got to protect women and girls from having to carry a child they don't want. So they should be able to kill it. More on that in another segment a little later on in this show, actually. So I won't keep going down that one. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you're voting against stuff as much as you are for stuff in this election. So it's more vital now that we align ourselves with where we stand and with what we oppose. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So right now, RFK, back to the story. RFK Jr., I don't think it necessarily came out of his mouth yet. But his VP says, look, Democrats are awful. They've treated us awful. And I think we need to align with Trump. We may very well align with Trump, drop out of here. I'd love for us to be a viable, an option. But for those of you that know the story, I mean, there's several stories to be fair, but I mean, the DNC has done everything they could to get RFK off the ballot in so many states and to challenge him. They were putting these deadlines out there that you have to have your VP pick at a certain date, or else you can't be on these certain ballots, and you have to jump through these hoops. And I mean, they have done everything, and everyone's kept him off the stage. And Trump's come to his defense. Who would you align with? If you're going to drop your candidacy, right, your bid for presidency, who would you align with? I mean, I think they're making the right call here. Now, it's not official yet, but right here at AP News, it does say RFK Jr. to speak Friday, fueling speculation he could drop out and support Trump. Now, I don't know what his polling is like right now, to be fair. I don't know if I really trust any of the numbers out there because they're always so off, especially when Trump is in the mix. But right here, I mean, if you're talking about 1%, maybe even 2% of the vote, and I say up to 2% because I think he is a more popular third-party candidate than any that we've had lately, to be fair. And then when you got Joe Rogan, by far the largest streamer out there, saying that he really likes this guy, how many people are getting behind him too? So he could have 1%, 2%. I mean, it could be wild. It could be up to 3%. And that's not sarcasm. That's huge for a third-party candidate. Even if he just carried 1%, 2%, and that went over to Trump, that could be huge for Trump, especially in the big cities, especially where it matters most. In small town America, probably wouldn't make a difference. Trump's going to win a lot of that, if not most, if not all. But it's those big cities that carry so many electoral votes in these states, in these, bluish, purplish states, even though a good portion of the state's red, those big cities are blue. Right? Look at my state, Georgia. We are a primarily red state. But if you look at Macon, it's blue. If you look at Savannah, probably blue. Columbus, probably blue. And Atlanta, and right there around Atlanta. I call it all Atlanta. It's like all these little hubs of Atlanta. It's Atlanta. The whole thing's like a dark, dark blue, which makes our state blue or purple. Right? I mean, our two senators are Democrats. Our governor's a Republican, kinda. So 1%, 2% could change the game. So don't know yet. It's going to come out later today at the time that this show comes out on Friday morning. It will come out later today. Him doing probably a press conference or coming out with something. making whatever this announcement is that he's going to do, I would assume that he is going to drop out and support Trump and hopefully carry his supporters with him. So that's that. What do you guys think? Did you like RFK at all? Do you think it's going to help out if he comes over and supports Trump? I think it will, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? Is it going to help anybody, or is it just going to kind of like flatline? You know what I'm saying?
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.